In this video, I'm going to explain how we invest money here at WMS Group. First off, we use individual securities for the most part. We don't put you in mutual funds, we don't put you in annuities. We put you in things that you own, like an Apple or an Amazon or an ExxonMobil. You're going to own the actual securities because I feel like that if something goes wrong, at least you own something that's a good, valuable company. And so it's not as risky as maybe putting it into a mutual fund company and that mutual fund family were to fail, then what do you own? So it's probably never going to happen. To me, it just makes sense to own these things because it's also the most efficient way to do it. We do not like to have you pay extra fees for things that we can do ourselves, so we're cost efficient. But what we do is we put the math in your favor, and I'm going to show you in a minute when I talk about volatility. I'm going to show you in a minute how that eats you up. We feel like we have a repeatable, systematic way that we do this, and what it comes down to is early in my career, I struggled, like most advisors, with risk questionnaires. If you ask a client a risk assessment questionnaire, see what kind of risk they want to take, they usually don't know how to answer the questions, one. But two, if I asked them those questions in 2008, well, they're going to give me, I don't want any risk. The markets were crashing. I'm not risky at all. I want to be safe. But if we did that same person with the same questionnaire today, when markets have been doing fairly well, then they go, I want to take the risk. I want to take on some of that. Yeah, give me a piece of the action. So the risk questionnaire, it really matters when you ask the questions, how somebody feels. And I just feel like that everybody wants 15% return with no risk. That's what everybody would love to have. So with that kind of thought in mind, I'm going to kind of show you some of the things that we do. We can't manage a return, but we can manage risk. That's what we're trying to do, is to manage your risk. So we kind of teach our clients what we're doing as much as they can absorb so we can have meaningful conversations. The reason people are fearful is because at the end of the day, they don't understand it. When you don't understand something, you kind of shy away from it or you're afraid of it. So we try to solve that problem as well. So we've come up with two pieces I want to go over with you. One of them is called The Smoother, the Better. And if you look at this piece, there are three different accounts, A, B, and C. Each of them started with $100,000. And they all got, if you go to the bottom of the page under the return, they each got 10% annualized return over 15 years. Okay, well, look at the numbers at the bottom. They're all different. Why do they have different results when they started with the same money and had the same rate of return? How is that possible? Well, if you go up and look at how they got their returns, you'll see that column A was pretty smooth. Column B was a little more risky. And column C was a little more risky, and they both had higher deviations, so they both had more negatives that if you lose 50% of your money, you have to do 100% to get back to even. That's what we're trying to avoid by what we do. So we're looking to smooth out the portfolio. That's the first kind of core tenet. We're going to use this concept to smooth out performance. And how do we do that? Well, one of the things that we do is we always have cash, because as markets are going up, we're going to peel off some positions, we're going to peel off some gains, kind of like pruning the azalea bushes. We're going to make them look a little bit leaner than they were. We're going to throw that cash into the cash sweep account. And then when markets dip or give us an opportunity to buy something at a bargain, we're going to put that money back to work. So we're always rotating in and out, in and out. It's not a constant. There's not a lot of buying and selling, but this is how we do it. Now, how do we determine what we want to buy and when do we want to get risky and not? If you look at this next piece, it's called financial speed versus financial risk. And what this piece shows, it's an interesting piece. It was for some other use that I had earlier in my career, but this one has a interesting concept behind it. So what it's basically telling you is if you wanted to accumulate $1 million and you had $20,000 a year to put away, at a 0% interest rate, it would take 50 years. If you 20,000 times 50 is $1 million. So if you look at the next column, at 5%, you cut it in half. You go from 50 years to 26 years. That's a huge payoff for not a whole lot of risk. But then when you go to 8%, you'll see that it goes from 26 years to 20. Now, it's still decent, but it's nowhere near the same that you got out of that first 5%. So as you can see, the higher you're going, the less help you're really giving yourself. And it's really not going to turn out with volatility if you start getting in excess of that, because if you look at the 12% column, I mean, look what happens there. You're taking a risk, or you're targeting a risk that's almost unattainable. And you're turning around and you're only saving 2 years from 20 to 18 years. Why do that? So we've kind of come up with that 7 to 8% risk in a typical market. We have a way that we measure this, and we use this to help us determine what we're buying. We have a lot of software, advanced stuff that helps us to decide this stuff. So at the end of the day, this is what we've been doing. We've loved the results we've gotten. You can't ever say something's going to work forever, but I do know that if I can smooth out your portfolio, then I can give you the most cash, and you can't spend a rate of return, but you can spend cash. So I hope that this video helped to explain this to you, and you're always available to give us a call. You can always give us a call, and we can always help you if you'd like more explanation.